Good morning! Happy Sunday. I'm coming to you with my Slazenger stolen socks from my Uncle Harvey. Anyway, as promised, this is a travel Q&A. First Q&A, got my little cup of tea. I've got all the questions on the laptop. Okay, so this is going to be just answering your questions that you've sent to me through my Instagram poll that I done this week, a couple of days ago. Some of them are, they're actually all really good. Like really good questions. I was quite surprised. I thought I was going to get some really stupid ones in there, but they're actually really good, so thank you so much for asking them. I'm gonna kick off with, so the first one is cheapest and most affordable travel destinations. Without a shadow of a doubt, Southeast Asia is one of the hot topic destinations to go. It is so cheap. When I came to Central America, I thought it'll be on par with, you know, Southeast Asia, maybe a little bit more. They are not similar at all. You can go to Bangkok and stay in a gorgeous hostel for like £3. You can go and eat a really good meal for less than £1, and you can get a beer for like 50p. That's the kind of prices we're talking in Southeast Asia. Laos, Cambodia. Laos and Cambodia are a little bit more, I wouldn't say less of a backpacker scene, but they're not as hot as Thailand and things at the moment. So they are still really relatively cheap. Vietnam, just as cheap. Philippines, really cheap. All really cheap. I would probably estimate you can do Southeast Asia on a minimum of £25 a day. That's if you're going to your really extreme kind of budget backpacking. If you want to not have to worry and keep looking at your budget and be able to say yes to everything, I would probably go for £35 to £40 a day. Also though, a really good, a cheap, good destination to travel is, never eat shredded wheat, Eastern Europe. Places like Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, places like that, you can still get really good cheap. You're looking at hostels between £7 and £10 a night. I love this question. I thought it was really sweet. What would be your biggest piece of advice to solo travel? And if I could just like narrow it down to one, it would be stay in hostels. Stay in hostels. Stay in hostels, okay? Stay in hostels. There you go. The reason why is because solo travel, you're on your own. Not because you want to be on your own all of the time. You still do want to hang out with people and make friends and have a good time. You will meet people in hostels very fast. My biggest advice, when I used to get to a new country, so when I was traveling in Southeast Asia, I literally traveled like 10 countries. I would get to a new country, I would research what is the party hostel in whatever city that I was going to, and I'd stay in a party, lively, bubbly hostel, and I would make friends within the day. Friends that I'm still friends with to this day. You know who you are. But yeah, that would be my biggest bit of advice. Okay, next one. Love your content. Thank you. This one's going to come as a surprise. Philippines or Belize for a 3-week holiday. Now, if you know me and you've been following me, you'll know my love for Belize. But I choose the Philippines, and here's why. If you've only got a 3-week holiday, the Philippines has for me, it has so much more to offer in terms of diversity, things to do, loads of different islands that are all very unique and different, and there's just a lot more to do in 3 weeks, and I feel like you'll get a lot more out of if you're only going for a holiday. You know, in Belize, for me personally, I haven't travelled enough of it to be like, yeah, you can go here and here. There's only a few places like San Pedro and Quicorca and San Ignacio. For me, there's only like 3 destinations that I know of where tourists and backpackers go. So I feel like you kind of limit yourself almost if you were going to go to Belize on a 3-week holiday. So definitely go. I would choose the Philippines. I hope that helps and you have a lovely time. Oh, I wanted to add, if you do choose the Philippines and you go, I have so many blog posts from when I backpacked the Philippines on my website, completely free. My website will always be free for you guys. All the content's already on there, ready to go. How do you decide which hostels to stay in? 2 ways. One, I read reviews, usually on Hostel World. I use to book hostels, but always do price compare. If you're on the browser, there's a website called RatePunk. It's like a Chrome extension. They compare everything for you because Agoda is sometimes slightly cheaper and they give you rewards. So it's a toss up between them two. But anyway, read the reviews. Number one, what I do is speak to other backpackers. you're getting real reviews in real time, and chances are they would have just came from that place. Or, you know, because sometimes when you're backpacking, everyone's always gone in one of two ways. You're either going the same route or you're going in the opposite route, and there's normally all the same stops on the way. So you'll get real-time reviews from other backpackers, which is what you want. It's like gold. So always just speak to other backpackers. What makes you choose your next destination? To be honest, I have a personal plan of my life where I want to visit every single country in the world. So there's not many things that help me choose, because I think, well, I'm going to go to that country at some point anyway. When I first started backpacking, I looked for two things: safety and budget, because I was young. I was 24 when I left, and I'd never been solo traveling before. I wanted to come to South America, because I just had this like pull towards it. I was like, I want to go to South America, I don't know why. And I got talked out of it through other people. I listened to other people, I let them kind of decide for me. And so I ended up going to Southeast Asia. I think if you've never ever been backpacking before, and you've never ever been solo traveling before, Southeast Asia, there's a reason everyone goes there. It's so easy to travel. It's almost been built for backpackers at this point. It's, you know, but they haven't taken away their culture or their authenticity. It's all still there, and I think that's why it's such a good place to start off. And it's such a good place in general. I literally love Asia. It's like no other place on the planet. It's like they live on their own planet. It's honestly so good. If there are things that you want to help make you decide, maybe look at things of what do you like to do as a person, how much do you have for your budget, and things into consideration as well. What is the average age of travellers you're meeting at hostels? In Central America, where I'm currently backpacking now, I would say mid to late 20s and also early 30s is what I'm meeting at the moment. But if you followed along for my journey in Kikorka, my best mate on the island was 72. KC and PC, that's what we were. It really does depend, but I would say the average age is probably like mid to late 20s at the moment in Central America. As a first time solo traveller, do you recommend Belize or Guatemala to start? To start, I would say Guatemala, and here's why. I feel that Guatemala has a lot more stops along the way, and a lot more sort of things to do and things to see, and it is also considerably cheaper than Belize. So I would do that first and then spend time in paradise at the end. Paradise is waiting for you at the top. Just know that both countries are amazing. They're both completely different, so you're going to get two completely different adventures. I hope that helps. This one I was debating whether or not to put this one in. Do you still have contact with the solar farm you worked in Australia? Do you need experience? I'll start with the easiest part of the question. To be a labourer or a trades assistant, you don't necessarily need experience of working on a solar farm, because you get on-site training, okay? And it's not a skill that you need to have, it's more just manual labour. You do need to have your white card course though, okay? That's equivalent of a CSCS card in the UK. No, I don't have contact with the solar farm, because basically I was like romantically involved with someone that works there. And it's just safe to say that we're both blocked on each other's block list now, okay? It didn't end too well, let's just say that. Yeah, romances travelling can be intense sometimes. I don't think it needs to go any more said. I'm in contact with some people that I met there though. I'm still friends with, not him though. You're watching this? This one makes me laugh. How much money do I need to travel indefinitely? Like, you know, how long's a piece of string? It really does depend on how you travel. Could easily be a budget backpacker on like between 10 and 15 grand a year, I would say. You can really bring that down by doing things like I'm doing right now. I'm doing volunteering. This is like my private bedroom that I've got. I'm doing that through Wildpackers right now. This is my second experience with them. Another one that I love, because you don't actually really have to work, is house sitting. You have to look after animals, or you just have to look after their house. That can really bring costs down, especially if you can get a good house sit for like 6 months living in wherever. All you have to pay with house sitting's the membership fee. And I found a really good one, a new one. I normally do trusted house sitters, But if you're looking for one in, say, the UK or Australia or something like that, you can get a cheaper one called House Sitters UK. The difference is Trusted House Sitters is pretty much worldwide. It's got so many more options on there. Work along the way, earn cash in hand. If you really want to be serious about traveling full time, really consider launching your own travel blog or website. Consider starting making content. You never know where it's going to take you in life. Work on boats, say you travel around the world, be a tour guide, get a remote job. There's literally thousands of remote jobs now. Be a digital nomad. Safe sex while traveling, any advice? Condoms, I think, are the obvious one. Use condoms. Always you don't necessarily need to tell your family what you're up to. You know, you might be drunk at like 2 a.m. Like, oh, I'm going. But always tell your friends that you're travelling with. You know, if you're out, say you're out in the club or whatever like that, and you're going back to one night thing, make sure your friends know exactly where you're going. If you can, get him to pay for a private room at your hostel so that if you want to leave, you don't have to walk far to your dorm room. Hey, I'm going to Central America in January. Just wanted to know how you planned your trip. No plan is the best plan to a certain extent. I'm going to give you some tips. Always have your first couple of nights booked somewhere. And then TikTok is a great search engine for figuring out where to go, a good itinerary, what to do. But also another one, it's the same with the hostels. Always speak to travellers and backpackers. When I went to Cancun, within the first 3 days, I found out about a place called Isla Holbox. I'd never heard of it in my whole entire life. I ended up living there for 6 weeks because it was one of my favourite places in the whole of Mexico. So, and that came from another traveller. Thank you, Hazel. So yeah, always speak to other travellers. Speak to the hostel that you're at. They will know. They're normally local people that work at the hostels as well. They will know little local restaurants to go to, hideaway spots. Always speak to the locals. That's another great thing. Always speak to the locals. And eat where the locals eat. That's another good one. Okay, and this wraps it up with the last question. What will be your first destination in 2023? So, I can't disclose yet, but there's some things in the pipeline for some travel trips. First quarter of 2023. I don't know where and I don't know when yet. However, I do want to live in London for the first 2 months. And that's something that's still going on in the background right now too. So all I can say is watch this space. Some very exciting things coming for next year. And I hope this just carries on how it is. This year's been absolutely amazing. I can't thank everyone enough for the support and the love that I've got over this past sort of 9 months. I actually, you know what, I can't wait for 2023. I can't wait. Any questions have come up and I haven't answered them, please DM me and I will let you know. But I've pretty much answered everything that came through on my Instagram. So, bye.